Gillette Public Access Television presents North by Northeast, a news magazine about Northeast Wyoming. Welcome to another edition of North by Northeast. Governor Matt Mead was recently in Gillette, and we were lucky enough to have him stop by the studio and answer a few questions.
I think these tours that have been arranged by folks from this part of the state have been tremendous. And to give you an example of that, I have traveled to British Columbia and to the state of Washington to promote the export of coal to other nations. And in doing that, I've met with mayors, county commissioners, local elected officials, and state legislators. And those that I've met with, a few have had the opportunity to come out here and view the coal mines and view the energy business in Campbell County. And I can tell you that there's no better message than to see it on the ground, to see how well it is done in an environmentally sound way, in a way that is safe to our workers. And when they can see the world-class reclamation at our coal mines, and they can see our trains going by without coal dust, that is great. And these tours also, I can tell you, provide an opportunity for these folks to come out and meet the people in Campbell County, in Gillette, and Wright. And when they see them and they meet them and see what their purpose is and how proud they are to provide energy, not only for Wyoming, not only coal to 35 states, but the opportunity to provide energy to the world, I think those tours of the things that we promote, of my work in different states and in different countries, I can't think of many things that are more effective than those tours. You know, as I think about the EPA, it is a daily challenge in the governor's office on the EPA. Currently, the state of Wyoming, we have multiple lawsuits, federal lawsuits. We have 13 lawsuits that involve the EPA. And I started that when I first came into office, not because I wanted to, but because we need to. We need to protect the coal industry, the oil and the gas industry. In particular, coal. Coal has a target on its back. And when I see that, it just is so surprising to me because I recognize that coal provides about 40% electricity in this country. I recognize that coal has helped manufacturing in our state and outside our state be competitive. It has helped our entire country remain competitive. And we also recognize it's the fastest growing energy source in the world. And so when we think about we have hundreds of years of coal left and the EPA trying to put it out of business with a target on its back, we're pushing back. And the 13 lawsuits that we have with the EPA, that is part of it. But it's also part of it to recognize while you push back, you got to push forward. And as the state that is the leading coal producer, we need to provide leadership. And we have done so. If you look at our coal mines and you look at the people who work there, you know, they do world-class work that should be recognized as a leader. And what we're doing now with the legislature, I asked last session for about $15 million for an integrated test center. And what that's going to do is provide an opportunity for scientists around the world to look at the slipstream off a coal-fired plant and turn that into useful product, feedstock for petrochemicals. It could be mixed with algae for a food sweetener. It could even potentially be used to make graphene. And so we're going to continue to push back. We draw the line, and we do so because we recognize what was at stake is not only Wyoming's future, but in fact this country's future. This country needs coal. This country should be celebrating the fact that we have such great coal. And we say thanks as much as we can to the coal miners and the people in the coal industry that provide so much for our state, our school, our kids. It means a lot. So we're going to continue to stand firm. And I think we've got a good track record of doing that, and we'll continue to do it in the future. You know, one of the great things that we have in Wyoming is this outdoor recreation. You know, as the first state with the first national park, first national monument, we're very proud of that fact. And we're proud of the fact that in Wyoming we have world-class wildlife. It provides opportunities from anybody who wants to be in photography and to hunting. As a hunter myself, as my kids, both teenagers, I've had the great experience of going hunting with them and with my wife. We recognize that this is an opportunity that is unique to Wyoming, and we want to celebrate it in Wyoming, and we want to invite people from outside of Wyoming to say, listen, you can't find a better place for outdoor recreation, whether it's hunting or fishing, than Wyoming. And we in Wyoming recognize that our wildlife is not only something we enjoy, it's part of our culture, our heritage, and frankly, it's a big part of our economy, and we need to recognize that. And that's why with the Game and Fish, last year I asked for some additional money to support the Game and Fish Department, because I want my kids and my grandkids to enjoy what I did growing up, the opportunity to hunt with friends, with parents, with family, because that means more than just the actual hunt. It's time together in a unique way that provides lifetime memories, lifetime experiences. Sometimes you're successful and sometimes you're not, but every time you have a great time. So to hunters outside of Wyoming, what I would say is, if you're truly interested in hunting and enjoying a world-class experience, there's no better place than wonderful Wyoming.
Coming up on North by Northeast, a trip to Absaroka County.
So Andy, tell me about the new name change here at Campbell County Health and how that transpired.
Well, we felt like our name needed to reflect the vast array of services that we provide, Joe. We began years ago as a hospital, but we're no longer only a hospital. We've got a number of services that we've added through the years to try and provide more services to Campbell County and be able to ensure that those services survive, that they weren't dependent on some other entity from outside of Gillette or Campbell County. And so for that reason, we felt it was time for us to have a name change that reflected the services that we provide. And Campbell County Health seemed to be an adequate descriptor of those services. So we're excited about that change. We think it's good, and it allows us to present ourselves to our community in a way that really describes who we are now and who we expect to continue to evolve to in the future.
What are some of the challenges with changing your name? I mean, obviously, business cards and websites and all that stuff has to be changed. Well, in terms of branding and marketing that to the public, what's unique about that?
Well, there is a lot to think of, and to be frank with you, every day we find one more thing that we probably didn't think of because it involves so many different elements of your organization. So there is a lot to do. We're trying to phase it in such a way that it isn't overly expensive. We didn't pay a lot for a big name change campaign. We think we went about it in a reasonable way, and we came up with a name that really fits who we are in the community. And so for that, all of that, I think it's been a good process for us, but it continues to be a process. We have a lot to do. I suspect it will take the better part of this fiscal year, which for us begins now and runs through next June. And during that time period, we'll change out, as you mentioned, stationery and email addresses and signage and so forth. We also, as you mentioned, want to present ourselves to the community because we do believe we're changing and for the better. And so it gives us that opportunity to re-announce ourselves, I guess, to the community as the provider of many healthcare services in Gillette and Campbell County, not just a hospital. So we're going to take that opportunity. We'll be doing some marketing. We're doing some video and radio and billboards and lots of different types of media in order to let people know that the name change is only the beginning.
Gotcha. Let's talk about the sort of the perception change. I think seems like when I used to film the meetings a while back, the patient satisfaction surveys were pretty important to you guys. How are you utilizing those in this sort of being a new health facility and kind of having people think about this facility and facilities differently?
Well, we're very focused on patient satisfaction. In fact, we do patient satisfaction surveys for our inpatients, for all of our outpatients, which includes dialysis, cancer care, surgery, lab radiology. We do a focused patient satisfaction survey for the emergency room patients. Now we're doing them for all of our clinics, and there are 14 or so clinics. We do a separate satisfaction survey for our residents at Pioneer Manor. So we are extremely focused on that. In fact, it's front and center on our strategic plan. And we use that data to look at particular areas where we can improve and need to improve. We also use it to celebrate. This year, we've seen a very measurable, meaningful, and exciting increase in our inpatient satisfaction surveys. And so we're going to be talking about that more.
We'll have more from Campbell County Health CEO Andy Fitzgerald later in the show. Here's a look at this week's community calendar. On Thursday, August 21st, will be the third Thursday Street Festival in Sheridan on historic Main Street. Dozens of food and non-food vendors will be there, 2 stages of musicians, and lots of fun. No admission charge, and for more information, visit downtownsheridan.org. The final family-friendly free concert will be happening on Main Street in Newcastle on Friday, August 22nd from 6 to 9 p.m. Check it out. Also on August 22nd, there will be a rodeo in Buffalo starting at 7 p.m. Gates open at 6 p.m. For more information, call Carla at 684-7357. Join the Fur Kids Foundation on August 23rd from noon to 2 at the City of Gillette City Pool for the Pooch Plunge. Registration will be taken the day of the event, but attendees may download a form at furkidsfoundation.org ahead of time. Later on North by Northeast.
I love pizza. It's my very favorite food in the world. So.
This week's featured pets come to us from the St. Francis Animal Shelter in Buffalo. We have Nina, a young female. She is well-mannered, litter-trained, and perfectly adorable. We also have Chesbro, an adult male cat. He would prefer a nice, peaceful home where he can lounge around, but he will insist on lots of petting. If you are interested in either of these pets or any other pets the shelter may have, contact them at 307-684-1738 or check petfinder.com, where you will find adoptable pets in your area. And as always, please adopt a pet. July 18th marked the beginning of the 3rd annual Longmire Days in Buffalo, or if you prefer, Durant, the fictional town in the Longmire series of books by Wyoming author Craig Johnson. The books have spawned a popular crime drama series on the A&E network, now in its 3rd season.
It's not all that different from New York City. Both have their good points and bad points.
There were many events throughout the 3-day festival, each with its own opportunity to interact with the stars of the TV series. The festivities began with an autograph session at the old Clear Creek Elementary School. When we arrived, the line was already out the door and well on its way to the street. We were lucky enough to duck inside before the doors closed. Longmire Days brings people in from all over the United States.
I'm Randall Oakley. We're from Okeechobee, Florida. Drove all the way, pulling an RV, and actually, this is our return trip. We went all the way to the Pacific and visited a son in the Seattle area and heard about this and thought it might be a great thing to do, so here we are.
Marty Kastner, and I'm from Platteville, Wisconsin.
Karen Fletcher, and I'm from Nederland, Colorado.
We had a wonderful time last night down at the Occidental Saloon, I should say, for the Cowboys and their singing last night. So we're just taking it all in right now.
I just think Buffalo's a beautiful town. I could actually move here.
As well as locals. How does this year's event compare to those in years past?
So far, this is the first thing I've been to is the autograph session, and I think it's going really well. They learned a lot from last year, and it's quite more organized, and it's been very pleasant.
Several of the stars of the show were in attendance. Katie Sackhoff, Adam Bartley, Luann Stevens, and Zahn McLernan were on hand to sign autographs and shake hands. The sheriff himself, Robert Taylor, was also on hand, along with his wife and young daughter. Author Craig Johnson made the journey in from Ucross to meet the public as well. Occurring throughout much of the festival was an Indian powwow. Later in the day, we headed out to the HF Bar Guest Ranch for skeet shooting.
everybody knows which way they're going, with which guide they're going with. So have fun, shoot straight. We'll see you in a couple hours.
We tagged along with the beginners group.
It's all common sense, but we want to treat the guns with a great deal of respect. Have some fun. Does anyone have any questions on the gun safety? Great. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Katie Sackhoff, who plays Vic Moretti on the series, was in the group and gave it a go as well. These weren't the only activities for the weekend. There were Longmire viewings at the Buffalo Theater, a writing workshop with author Craig Johnson, and a motorcycle poker run. To finish it up, there was an evening of jazz standards hosted by the Ferg. The Longmire season finale was Monday, August 4th. No word on whether A&E will pick up the series for a fourth season. Amid the cacophony of the Gillette Avenue construction project, you can find a slice of wood-fired goodness within the Gillette Brewing Company.
I'm Rachel Callenberg.
And I'm Ariane Jemison. We are the owners of Pizza Corrello, and we are a mobile wood-fired pizza operation here in Gillette, Wyoming. Well, I was a ceramic artist for many years and been going to art festivals selling my pottery and my wares, and when the economy kind of tanked, so did the art sales big time. So I had to figure out something else to do, and I've built kilns and been working with fire for a long time to make pottery, and decided that the food vendors were doing really well at all of my favorite festivals, and that this would be one of the coolest things that I could possibly even think about doing, would be building some sort of a kiln on a trailer to go to these festivals. And then it sort of turned into a food thing, and then I love pizza. It's my very favorite food in the world. And so at first I thought that I was inventing this, putting a pizza oven on a trailer, and then found out that I didn't invent it. So I did go meet the guy who did invent it, and talked with him for a long time about how his operations work and how his ovens work, and took a class from him, and decided to abandon almost everything we learned in that class and did our own thing, and that's what we have here. We have actually had a lot of good luck teaming up with lots of different businesses and organizations and individuals, and one of the biggest components of our business is the arts community, which brought me to what I'm doing right now, and so we'd like to foster that, and we hire almost primarily artists. Everyone who works for us is an artist of some sort, and we think that actually gives us huge advantages into infusing our whole entire company with creativity. When we first started, we actually thought that this would be a food cart for a long time, and we imagined many other food carts actually alongside this, to go alongside this, but one thing turned into another, and we really decided just to focus on the pizza, because it was what we were really good about, with what we were really passionate about. And so far we've had incredible success with pizza so far, and we decided that why not just work on perfecting it. And we set up at Dawn's Supermarket parking lot when we first opened, our very first day there, and sold out in a few hours, and we were like, wow, this might actually work. We didn't have a sign, we had nothing. We just kind of set up, and people came over to see what this thing was that we had going on, and they went crazy, and we added on and expanded our menu until we got hit up by this brewery. It said, what do you guys think about having a home? And by that time we were pretty road weary from packing up an entire restaurant every single morning, everything you need, re-icing everything, going out on the street, bending in the sun for hours on end, or in the winter time with coveralls on, and just going nuts in blizzards and trying to do it anyway. Having a home was very, very, very much what we needed at the time, and allowed us to expand our menu again, expand our staff, go from a 2-person team to a 4-person team, from a 4-person team to an 8-person team, and hopefully that will just continue to grow.
When we originally started, it was supposed to be more of like something to do in the summertime to make money, so that all winter long Ariane could focus on making pottery and art. But the demand from our customers and from people we knew was so great that they wanted it all the time. They wanted as much as they could get it, and so that really kind of made us reevaluate what we had thought the company was going to be and where we wanted to take it in the future.
When we started to, first, we were trying to sell 50 pizzas a day, and we thought if we sell 50 pizzas a day, that's enough to pay the bills, that's enough to get by. And then we were trying to make enough dough for that, and making it all by hand, doing everything by hand, really. Then we decided, well, let's just try to make 100 doughs, because we kept selling out, we kept selling out, we kept selling out. Well, what happens if we come out on the street with 200 doughs? We sold all of the dough. So we started realizing no matter what we do, there's enough demand there for it. We have never had to throw dough away. That's never, ever, ever happened to us. So now we are making as much dough as we possibly can, and that's kind of what we're limited to in the seating that we have in this huge facility, but that's still, we still are just making pizza in a 10 by 10 room with, 40 ingredients, all made fresh every day. It's really crazy. But when that moment happened, when we realized that no matter what, we're going to have to hire more people, so why wouldn't we just hire our own family, our own artist friends, our own people that we really love spending time with? Because we're all spending a lot of time together, so you might as well make sure that it's people who value what you're doing, who value what we're making, and the way that we're making it, all from scratch. And artists are the great people to do that. They really have a great appreciation for everything aesthetic, and that's what our product is all about.
You can find Pizza Corrello in the Gillette Brewing Company at 301 South Gillette Avenue. They're open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. And now, part 2 of our interview with Campbell County Health CEO, Andy Fitzgerald.
Andy, tell me what some of the services Campbell County Health provides that might not be found or are kind of rare in the rest of the state.
Well, that's a great question because it really feeds into our name change, Campbell County Health. You asked that a little earlier. We are the most comprehensive healthcare provider in Wyoming, and I tell people that, and oftentimes it's surprising, or perhaps they don't even believe me. But we provide an acute care hospital, obviously, and so does Casper, and so does Cheyenne, so does Cody, so does Sheridan. However, when you look at our array of services, we offer inpatient and outpatient behavioral health. We have a dialysis unit. We have medical and radiation oncology. We have home health. We have inpatient and outpatient hospice. We've got a great coordinated program with our local college for nurses, and we help fund that program. We've got a growing and a very highly qualified medical staff. When you look around the state, Joe, other hospitals don't have that same set of services. They may have a home health department, or they may offer medical oncology, or they may have a small outpatient behavioral unit, but they don't have what we have. What we have is truly unique, and we're able to provide that service, that set of services under one umbrella to our community. And what that means is we can coordinate those services much better. I just got a report several months ago from Medicare that said in Campbell County we have the lowest spending per beneficiary throughout the state of Wyoming, and far under the national average. I'm convinced that's at least in part because we coordinate that whole set of services for our patients and residents, in the case of folks at Pioneer Manor. So it's truly a very unique, I believe, set of services that we offer in the state of Wyoming, and we're excited about even seeing that continue to grow in the future into more services.
Well, let me clear my throat. Let me follow up. What's next? What do you think the biggest service you could offer next is?
Well, we just recently added cardiac cath lab, and we have obviously some new cardiologists that we've recruited to our medical staff. So we're thrilled about that. That's got off to a great start. I mean, they are literally saving lives in Campbell County, and we're just thrilled that we're offering that service. So what we want to do is stabilize that. It's new. It's been a big challenge for us, and so rather than take another big bite out of the apple, so to speak. We want to focus on what we're doing now and do it in a very excellent, focused way. However, there are some things we want to do in the future. We believe that diabetes care is critical to the success of health in Campbell County. It's a huge problem nationally, and it's no different here in Campbell County. So on our strategic plan, we've got a new diabetic care program, and that means a range of services, both inpatient, outpatient, educational programs that we want to put together to see if we can't decrease the incidence of diabetes in our community and help those folks who have that disease better take care of themselves. So that's one thing. Along with that, and this has been in the paper, that we want to recruit an endocrinologist. That particular physician specialty will really help us take better care of the diabetic population. We don't currently have that in Campbell County, and we think it's critical to recruit that specialty. It's proven to be a real challenge for us. We're still working on it, but we're committed to bringing that service, probably on a part-time basis to begin with, to Campbell County to help us maximize what we want to do in the care of diabetes in our community. And so that's an example of one thing we're doing.